Live Aid was one of the defining musical moments of the 1980s. The gargantuan charity concert, held simultaneously in London and Philadelphia in July 1985, raised more than $127 million for famine relief in Africa.A. Who's Who of rock music. The 16-hour show included performances from Queen, Madonna, Bob Dylan, George Michael, Paul McCartney, David Bowie, and Paul Simon. But Sir Rod Stewart was conspicuously absent, even though he'd recently scored a major transatlantic hit with Some Guys Have All the Luck. For years, the story has gone that he couldn't get a band together in time for the show. But the star has recently discovered the real reason he was left off the bill. He only wanted me to do it if I got on the CBS News at 10 o'clock. He said, if not, he's not doing it. And that's not what it was all about. It was to raise money for kids. It wasn't about what news channel you were going to be on in America. I only just found this out, says the star. I thought it was weird that I didn't do it.
Written with his longtime band member Kevin Savagard, it's an eclectic record that attempts to balance the 76-year-old's rascally youth with his older, more sentimental side. It opens with a suite of libidinous love songs, One More Time, Gabriella and Kukula Ramabama. The latter is as dopey as the title suggests, a risible celebration of carnal love in which the star declares, sex is cool and sex is nice, sex will lead you to paradise, I love it. Things improve on the touching love song I Can't Imagine, dedicated to his wife Penny Lancaster, and the closing track Touchline, which fondly remembers his father through their shared love of football. Hello Sir Rod, how are you? Jolly good, mate, and you? I'm really well, thanks. Whereabouts are you today? I'm at home in Essex and looking across my wonderful lawns and enjoying life absolutely. Do you cut those lawns yourself? Bugger off. No, I have 3 or 4 gardeners. It's a massive property. You wrote a lot of the album at home during lockdown. What was that like? I think the lockdown gave me the opportunity to really zero in and get personal with the tracks. But I was very fortunate. Lockdown was a lot easier on me than it was for families who had 3 or 4 kids in 2 rooms in a high-rise. Yes, we had our moments of tears, but, by and large, we got through it pretty easily. And I also had time to take care of some medical problems. I had a knee replacement in my right knee, which has been giving me jip for the last 6 years. So I'm very sprightly now. It's the best thing I ever did. You've just done some gigs in Las Vegas. Were you able to move around the stage more than you could before? Oh God, it was like I was in my 20s. Just unbelievable. Before, I had trouble running because of the pain of the bone. It was only the adrenaline that was getting me through shows, and some anti-inflammatories. Now I don't need any pills whatsoever. It's just a second lease of life. One of my favorite songs on the new album is I Can't Imagine, which you wrote for Penny, right? I did indeed. We've been together 23 years now. It's amazing. She's recently trained as a special constable. How is that going? She absolutely loves the police work. She did 8 months worth of studying and physical exercise, and I supported her all the way. Now she works Thursday nights, and she goes around Tower Bridge and that side of the city, so she's fairly safe. Then she'll call me when she's done and I send a driver to pick her up. When she says she's on the way home, I can go to bed. Otherwise I don't sleep, obviously. But she could be in the station until 2 o'clock in the morning because if something happens, she has to fill in all the forms. But she's loving it. The song Born to Boogie is an affectionate tribute to Mark Bolan. What are your memories of him? We were drinking buddies and we had a lot of things in common. We all liked the same blues artists and we all shopped at the same place. Granny takes a trip on the King's Road, so we'd bump into each other a lot. We were on a festival with him, called the Wheelie Festival, in 1971. It was one of the first gigs for the Faces and we wiped the floor with him. And he was brave enough to come in and say, "Guys, I can't follow you. You were that good." I was very impressed with that. I hope his fan club loved this song. If the tables were turned, who would you want to sing a Rod Stewart tribute song? Paolo Nutini would be good. He's a Celtic boy, so he'd cover it well. But he's gonna have to wait. I'm not gonna knock it on the head just yet. You can't imagine doing a farewell tour like Elton John. Nah, I don't do farewell tours. But in the song All My Days, you talk about retiring to Mexico. That's all dream stuff, not to be taken seriously, but there are countries I'd like to go to: North Africa, Libya, Egypt. I'd like to see that part of the world. What's the attraction of those places? Maybe World War II. I'm a World War II fanatic because one was born in 1945, when it was just over, and I'd hear such wonderful stories from my brothers and my mum and dad and my sister. So I'd like to go to El Alamein, Casablanca, place like that. I'm sure everybody is asking you about the song Cuckoo-a-Ramabama. Where does that term come from? We were in the studio and we'd laid down the track, and I had the in there and I just started singing it, Cuckoo-a-Ramabama. It just was so rhythmic and catchy, and that's the wonder of making music. Suddenly you think of this idea, and you can go and do it. The song is an ode to the joys of sex, which is something you've never been shy about talking about in your music. There's a few sexy tracks on the album, you know. One More Time is about when you break up and you say, oh come on, let's have one more shag, although I've never done that myself. And the second track is about a girl who decides to give up her virginity and goes out to choose the right guy. They are all sexy tracks. If it's not a rude question, what is your libido like now you're in your 70s? You just mind your own business. It's okay, but I'm not going to tell you any more than that. Artists like yourself and Madonna and Prince used to sing about sex all the time, but it seems less common now. Why do you think that is? We live in a different world to when I was rampant. There was no pornography, all we had was Penthouse and Playboy, so I think the romance has gone out of it somehow. I would always put women first. Women were more important to me than my mates. My 15-year-old son is totally opposite. If a girl hangs around, within about 20 minutes, he's like, well, I want to go out with my mates instead. So that has definitely changed, because I was never like that. Why do you think that is? No idea, my friend. But I've got a 10-year-old, too, and he got engaged last year to a girl at school. He made her a paper ring, cheeky little sod.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.